back in the early 1900s, Einstein came up with a thesis, and working through his thesis, he decided it couldn't work that way, so he changed his math. And years later, Hubble, searching the universe with his telescope, found that there was what is called a red shift. That means that the light is actually moving faster away from where we are in the universe. And the remarkable thing is that Einstein said, I could have said that years ago, but I fudged my factors here. And oddly enough, Hubble brought him down and let him look through the telescope, and they had the whole experience. But the point is that the Big Bang Theory, which is related to this, that somehow, at some point in time, the entire universe came out of one package of matter. Now, don't ask me where the matter came from, but it came from somewhere. It doesn't matter. This quote explosion, this explosion of matter occurred. Now, before that, most, maybe everyone, considered the universe as being static, not expanding, just been there forever and ever and ever. But in fact, this implied that there is something that had a beginning, and having a beginning could imply a beginner, that is someone who put it in motion. And you say, well, it could have just happened by chance. It exploded, and that was it. Scientists have figured out that the explosion, the way it took place, the amount of matter, the amount of explosive energy in it, was within such fine, close tolerances that had it been just a slight bit larger or a slight bit smaller, and this is very finely tuned, I don't have the statistic in front of me, the entire universe would have done one of several things. One, it would have either exploded so far away from itself that none of the pieces could have ever coalesced into stars, could have never coalesced into planets, and the formation of even things like carbon, which is essential to life and some of our basic organic material,
so that
would have happened.
That would have been the really Big Bang.
That's the biggest bang, yeah.
Okay.
Just a little bit beyond where it was, it's gone.
Okay.
And that's a very fine line, though. The other side of it is that if the Big Bang wasn't strong enough, the matter would have been so slow, so to speak, relatively speaking, it would have all collapsed on itself and been back where it started from within a fraction of a second.
Okay,
so
that's
small fraction.
The baby Big Bang.
It would have collapsed.
Okay,
yeah.
So you've got the really Big Bang, which makes it go too far, too fast, and nothing can work together.
So as a result, some scientists have concluded that there is no way that could have happened without some force or some intelligence designing a precision explosion, or a creation, so to speak, if you wish to go that step, away from. Now, this is not to discuss the intelligent design community, but this is what was happening before the intelligent design community developed their theses on all the other biological factors.
Okay, so, but in terms of, let's take a look now. We've put the Big Bang on the table, so to speak. Now, if we look at the theory of evolution, it comes out of some kind of a Big Bang approach. It says that life started out of this spontaneous explosion, which allowed things to coalesce, as you said, and create stars and planets, and then on and on and on. Is that right?
Well, yeah, that would be the material world. But within that material world, there would be certain factors, certain chemicals, which would have existed. And these chemicals present on the Earth would have then, with the right environment, the right moment, over 15 billion years, not the Earth being around 15 billion years, but the whole universe being around 15 billion years, would have provided for the organization of proteins and things which then could have led to life.
Okay, and so you got a long time going there, and all of these things that are supposed to be happening.
And there's one other issue that we haven't mentioned, and we might want to deal with at some point, and that is there are innumerable factors that have to be present for life to exist on Earth as it is, as we know it.
Mm-hmm.
These would have also an entire stack of details that have to be fulfilled on this particular planet for the existence of any form of life.
Okay, and once we get into some of the numbers on this, it's absolutely staggering, mm-hmm. and that's why the illustration that we used earlier, that evolution is based on the intelligence of a rock versus something that put things in motion on purpose. There's some intelligent factor behind it. Those are the two approaches that we're looking at as to where you came from. Okay, in Darwin's theory, and I think his book originally came out, I think, in 1859, if I remember right, or 1856. I forget which. 1850 something.
1848 runs through my brain, but maybe
somewhere around there, a long time ago, he wrote, and in his book, there's a small paragraph. I think that's important to read, because the idea behind the theory of evolution is that the survival of the fittest, that natural selection will bring. Nature will bring itself to a higher and better level through this natural selection process. Go ahead.
You know, it's interesting because I have one statement here that was written up in a pamphlet that some of the listeners might like to find someday. It's called "Creation Triumphs Over Evolution," and the statement is cited in such a way that it states it this way: if it could be demonstrated that any complex organ existed,
and this is Darwin in his book.
And it says, which could not possibly have been formed by numerous successive slight modifications, my theory would be absolutely breaking down. Let me read another quote, though, from The Origin of the Species. Natural selection can act only by the preservation and accumulation